On B, did I get that right?
Yes, teacher.
Can you go ahead and read this particular slide? I realize there are blanks here. If you want to do those, great, go right ahead and do those. If not, stop and we'll have someone else read through those.
Okay. Vocabulary review. Bundles, tie or roll up. Earth ball is extremely angry. Tank twisted into an untidy mess.
Hmm?
Application. Tank twisted into an untidy mess. Right? My
So,
dad, my dad went playing. My dad went
my dad went ballistic.
ballistic when my little brother asked for a very expensive gift for Christmas.
Yeah, he did. Keep going.
The farmer got a new machine for harvesting hay. The machine extremely thick,
Bundled.
bundles the hay into large cycles, excluding the need for the wire. And then they used to use for the rectangular hay bales. I got tang, tang,
Tangled.
I got tangled up in the finishing line when the reel broke.
So when you have someone who goes ballistic, this is the extreme of this idiom. Okay, so my dad went ballistic, and he did. Honest to goodness, that happened. He was extremely angry, and he was not happy, screaming and not happy. The farmer, this is a new machine and this is for real. Dave and I used to live by a farm where they harvested hay into these very large circles. And these big hay bales were, I want to say they were 8 or 10 feet tall. So they're big. And it eliminated the need for the wire that they used to use on old rectangular hay bales. The downside of the old rectangle, well, one of the many downsides of the old rectangular hay bales was that once they came out of the machine, once they had been harvested and packaged into this rectangle bale, they had to be loaded by a person. Now, that large circle, the big hay bale that they've now been creating, that is harvested and put onto a big tractor trailer with a machine. So that eliminates people having to move those hay bales, which there, when you're harvesting hay, that's a lot of lifting and throwing. Um, and when you're fishing, you can get tangled up and it makes you crazy. It makes you crazy. You can get tangled up in that fishing line because things change. The reels can break and so on. Okay, let's see. How about Iris? Would you like to read this one?
Yes, teacher. Go haywire. Similar idioms. Go wild, go crazy, go ballistic, go bananas. go to pieces, go into a frenzy, flipped out, freaked out.
Okay. So you see there's quite a number of these idioms that relate to going haywire. It's an interesting, like I said at the beginning or in the first slide, lots and lots of folks use the going or the went or gone. He's gone crazy. He's gone bananas. He's gone to pieces. A lot of these going idioms are used in everyday conversation. And you can, I would say, it's possible not to go a day without hearing one of these. Let's see. Ying, would you go ahead and read this one?
Yes. Go out of your way, meaning putting forth extra effort to help someone else, doing something you wouldn't normally do, but for someone else. Elizabeth, you're really going out of your way to help Kelly get their tickets for the event. Related sayings, take special pains, bend over backward, go to the extra mile, go to bed for someone.
So these related sayings kind of help to clarify go out of your way. So when we go on a trip, often if my husband is planning the trip, we're going directly to wherever we're going. Okay. He's got the highway. He's going to go on that highway. Okay. If I'm planning that trip, I want to see new things. I would like to go a new way. And I really enjoy taking a slower road to see the back roads, because that's really where the wonder of America is. It's in the back roads. You have highways. South Korea has highways. America has highways. We all have highways. We've seen the highway. So going out of your way often will bring you new experiences along your journey. Going out of your way to help someone else also gives you the opportunity to learn about that person, to be familiar with them. Going out of your way gives you a new view. So taking special pains, bending over backwards, sometimes is necessary to bring you to the place where you have unique experiences and have a unique and new perspective on life or travel or career. You and my guess, because you're here, is that you are going out of your way to learn English. And since you're going out of your way to learn English and get familiar with these unusual phrases, called idioms, you are going to have an interesting experience in your college days, which is great. All right, let's see. Let's see. Aylin,
Yes,
would you like to read this slide?
yes. Go out of your way. Similar idiom. Go to bat for someone. Go the extreme mile. Bend
Okay.
over backwards. Take special pains.
Okay. So sometimes going out of your way takes a little bit extra time and takes and using that word pain, meaning you have to sometimes go slower when you go out of your way. So that for my husband, sometimes that is a pain because it means we're going slower. Anyway, go through the motions. Let's look at, how about if we have two people read this one? Swam, would you read the first two, meanings and origin, which goes down here to the end of a short span of time?
Yes, teacher. Go through the motions, meaning doing something without believing is important by rote or routine. Origin, this phrase is tied closely to the appearance of industrialized factory work in the early 1800s, which required laborers to perform monotonous tasks monotonous tasks for long periods of time, day after day.
Good.
Sometimes someone
disillusioned
in their tedious job at a manufacturing plant will quickly lose their motivation to perform their task carefully and would begin going through the motions in a short span of time.
Okay, and let's have Jack, would you like to read the last two, example and related sayings?
Yes. Example, when Ken goes out to town with his wife to see her family, he just goes through the motions. He doesn't like the family members. He goes to support his wife and protect her. With saying go along with it, put on an act. Along for the ride.
Okay. So going through the motions is an interesting phrase because it applies to so many situations. As an industrial nurse, so I was an emergency room nurse, and because of an injury, I transferred into working as a industrial nurse, meaning I was a nurse at a factory or at a construction site or at a hospital, and I would be there just in case people would get hurt. One of the jobs that I worked at was with an auto car or an auto dealership, not a dealership, but an auto parts distributorship. And what they did was very, very monotonous. The job was they got in parts from Japan. These car parts were in little boxes, and the line workers had to take them out of the boxes and put them into the car part distributor box. So the part would come in a Japanese box. They would take it out and put it into the AutoZone box. Oh, brother. Monotonous, tedious, wow. That's tough. That's a tough job to do for long periods of time. The thing that saved a lot of people from just being and going through the motions and just being all day long was that a lot of people on the line became friends. So going through the motions can be lifted, meaning that mindset, that depressive mindset, that monotonous mindset can be lifted by becoming friendly with and helping and talking together each other. And rather than being in your own world with your own earphones on, you're talking and sharing your lives with each other. So the people on that line actually had worked there a very long time. They were making money because they were doing this job, this monotonous job, but they were like a family because they had shared themselves with each other. Going through the motions can really really break you down and give you a depressed mindset. If you find yourself in that situation, reach out to other people. Okay, we're going to do some vocabulary here. Lynn, would you read the first part, the vocabulary review?
Vocabulary review. Industrialized of or related to manufacturing items on a large scale, often on a line type of approach. Monotonous, dull, and often repetitive text. Disillusioned,
Very good.
disappointed in someone or something that one discovers to be less good than originally thought. Tedious, long, slow, dull, tiresome, and frustrating.
Okay, let's have, did I see Zarhe? Is that right?
Yes, yeah.
Would you like to go through the application part and put in the vocabulary words into these sentences?
Yes. University towns often have no industrial life, etc. Establishment of town is centered around the educational offering and providing goods and service for students.
Mhm.
Factory work is said to be disillusion, monotonous and tedious. The couple became disillusioned with the city as they could not afford to leave the existing urban area.
That happens a lot, actually, the disillusionment with city living. Really kicks in when you have to pay for a city apartment and city, parking. Anyway, let's move on to go against the grain. Let's see. Nasan, would you like to read this one?
Yes, teacher. Go against the grain.
Yes.
Meaning to say or do something in an unconventional way that annoys people to anger the person by going against his, her wish or feelings. Origin, this thing has been in common use science since at least the 17th century. William Shakespeare popularized it in one of his plays. The peerless power and the words ground in certain direction. When you work with wood, it's easier to set up plain in the direction of the grain. If you went against the grain or across it, you will probably run out of wood. Not smooth is down. You may get
splinters. Yeah.
A flying to light the space doing or say things in a way that upsets or angers people. December, he really goes against the grain when he said that a woman can be president. The lady scene are rubs someone the wrong way.
Okay, so if you have, thank you. I appreciate your working through that. That was a tough one. If you have worked with wood, if you're sanding wood, there is great enjoyment in getting that wood smooth and soft to the touch with the, with the sandpaper. And as we're working that wood, you have to go with the grain, okay? So as it's described here, that wood goes in a certain direction. The grain goes in a certain direction. And when you're sanding it in that direction, you'll see it becomes smoother and softer, okay? When you go across the grain, it's really hard to manage that process. So when we're talking in, like, for example, if we're talking about business, a proposal that goes against the grain or that goes against the common thinking of that company may actually be good for the company, but might be rejected because it goes against the grain. So think about companies that come out with a really new idea. It takes a long time for that idea to catch on. I think about right now, Netflix, which began as a mail order where in America they said, oh, we'll send you the DVD and you can use that DVD and watch that movie for a week, 2 weeks, or whatever it was way back when. And then they went to online streaming. And that really was revolutionary at that time. So it went against the grain. It was not normal. That was not in our thinking at that time to go on the internet connection, go and pick out a movie from the list. This was, just 10, 15 years ago. It hasn't been that long that we've been streaming TV. So think about going against the grain. Sometimes we have to do that. We have to introduce that new idea. Zoom, for example, telecommuting, for another example, in order to make some progress in certain ways. So going against the grain initially may rub people the wrong way or might, be very revolutionary. Okay, we'll go to the next one. This one is the fun one, actually in our family. Let's see, Natet, did I get your name right?
Yeah.
Okay, would you like to read this one?
Go fly a kite, meaning go away, leave, stop bothering me. Origin, imagine you are trying to write a very involved research paper. Someone is really annoying you. There are a lot of expressions that you could shout at them that are similar, but all meaning. You are pestering me. Flying a kite is an activity that should keep them busy while you get your work done. Examples, Bruce was constantly asking his dad questions. His dad finally said, go fly a kite.
Okay, so I'll tell you a quick story about my husband's mama. His mama had many kids, okay? She came from a family of 10. She was the oldest one in that family of 10. And so her mom had left the kids with her a lot. So here she is, a kid herself, taking care of a lot of kids. All right. You can imagine she was pretty pestered. And she would be in charge of making dinner and taking care of the babies while mom was doing whatever. Often the mom was shopping, and would leave Gloria in charge of the family or in charge of the little ones for several hours while she was out shopping to come back and bring the food home. Anyway, Gloria got in the habit of saying, "Go play in the traffic, kid," which, let's face it, is not too nice, right? But that gives you an idea of that level of irritation and annoyance that might happen. Okay, let's see. Nei Sen, would you like to read this one?
Yes. Go fly a kite, similar idioms. Go jump in the lake. Go play in the traffic. Go climb a tree. Go fry an egg. Go paddle your pitch.
All of which I just find, I mean, I'm sorry, not all of them are very nice, but to say to someone, go fry an egg, it's just funny. And go peddle your fish, I can't even imagine saying that today, but I do hear go fly a kite frequently. And so sometimes in our business, the boss might say, look, go fly a kite. It's not going to work here. All right, go for broke. Let's see. Hold on. We had some new folks that came in the class. Da-dum. Hold on. I will try to. All right. Phone. Have you read anything yet today?
No.
Would you like to read this one?
Yes. Go for broke, meaning to risk everything on a big goal or effort, to try as hard as possible. Origin: since the 17th century, broke has meant without money. 200 years later, the idiom was used at the gambling tables. When a gambler won for broke, he risked all his money at once on one wager. If he won, he was rich. If he lost, he was broke. Example: Alice met an old acquaintance for lunch. Her friend offered her a job with incredible benefits. Alice decided to go for broke and quit her job to join her friend's company. Similar saying: go with gusto, swinging for the fence. Give it all you got.
So these similar sayings are related to some you might hear. Go with gusto, for example. I think that is actually part of one of the beer commercials that we have. Swinging for the fences is trying to hit a home run. So in baseball, give it all you got, go for broke, swing for the fences. The batter is swinging to try and make a home run. And often he's trying to make a home run to bring home 3 other players that are out on bases. Because if he hits a home run, they get 4 points, a point for himself and every other person that's on base. So giving it all you've got relates to, of course, trying the hardest that you can to win, okay? So this is a big goal, a big effort, giving it all you've got. We're going to watch one of the English in a Minute segments. Hold on one second. We'll do this one. And
English in a Minute. If you're broke, you have little or no money. Am I going to have to help Jonathan or Anna pay a bill? Well, Jonathan, I'm doing it. I'm joining the circus.
Excuse me?
That's right. But not just any circus. The Cirque du Soleil.
You got into Cirque.
Well, not yet, but I already told my boss that I'm quitting, and I found someone to move into my apartment. Montreal, here I come.
Wow, you're really going for broke.
When you go for broke, you take a big risk in hopes of having a big success. This phrase comes from gambling, when a player bets all their money at once. If they win big. But if they lose, they really do go broke. And that's English in a minute.
Okay. Let's go there. And we'll go back to, that was going for broke. Hold on. Next up, go over like a lead balloon. Let's see. Let's see if we have some new folks that joined us. I thought I saw a couple. Okay. Akret, would you like to read?
Yes. Go over like a lead balloon, meaning an idea that fails miserably.
Yes.
Again, this rarely with that expression, the writer who first used it imagined that what happened if you try to float a balloon filled with that it would never get off the ground. In the same way, any project or attempt that fails miserably is like a lead balloon that doesn't go over a blade of glass, let alone a tree top. This expression is often applied to a joke that gets no laughs. Example, I asked to go to Antarctica, but my idea went over like a lead balloon. Related things, bite the ducks, come to nothing, fizzle out.
So there's several sayings that can, relate to a miserably or a good idea that didn't go over. That went over like a lead balloon. And I've given some of those proposals in the past, and that is not a good day. That I put a lot of work into that proposal. It took me probably a month and a half to write it. And then I presented it to my boss and the head of manufacturing, and bam, it went down. It came to nothing. It went over like a lead balloon. So it was kind of crushing. Those things happen. And when we recover from that and realize that not everything that we do is going to succeed, we can turn around and turn those failures into the next step towards success. Thomas Edison, who was the inventor of the light bulb, said he just had that 10,000 failures got him closer. Each failure got him closer to the success that he had. And I marvel at his stick-to-itiveness, at his persistence. But sometimes when we look at those ideas initially, the ideas go over like a lead balloon. So sometimes you have to reframe that idea and go back again and try again. Okay, next one. Go over with a fine-tooth comb. We're going to divide this in half. And let's see. Is there anyone that has not read today? Please raise your hand. Theory, have you read today?
I only read a little bit.
Okay. All right. Has anyone else not read or would like to read? Okay. Yes, you may. Whoever that was.
Go over with a fine-tooth comb, meaning to search with a great care or attention. Origin: a fine-tooth comb has teeth spaced very closely together. It is often used to go through hair to find and comb out lice, which are very tiny. Figuratively speaking, if you search an area with a fine-tooth comb, you are examining and inspecting it with great care so you won't miss anything that is out of order, no matter how small. First, in print in writing by George Bernard Shaw in 1889. Example.
Okay. I'm going to have someone else read the next two. Go ahead and read this one. Let's, Cindy, can you read the next two?
Yes. Example, Karen's son was lost in a wooded park. She called the police and the members of her church to report him missing. They went over the park with a fine-tooth comb. He was found 36 hours later. Similar things. Leave no stone unturned. Turn inside out. Turn upside down.
This actually happened. This friend, Karen, her autistic son was lost and he was nonverbal. So because of all of those situations, they were very concerned and still don't really understand how he got lost because he was on a trail with his parents. So going over that park with a fine-tooth comb, they had to have a lot of people, hundreds of people were involved in that search because they had to go over the park so meticulously. So think about a fine tooth comb. They actually make combs for going through hair to get lice. They're very, very fine. And yes, initially there's a lice shampoo that they use to clean the hair, to treat the head. And then the next step is going through the hair little bit by little bit by little bit, combing out the bugs, the lice that are at the scalp usually, and removing them. And so that is a very tedious process. So going over something with a fine-tooth comb is a very detail-oriented, tedious process, in some case that is required to make sure that everything is going to work together. Often I think of this phrase in relationship to contracts. So whenever you have a contract, let's say you get a scholarship and they send you the paperwork, remember to read it, go over it with a fine-tooth comb, every single line. Don't just sign at the bottom and say, hey, it's good, because there may be hidden benefits in that scholarship that you want to take advantage of. For example, some of the scholarships that my nieces and nephews have gotten, they haven't just been for tuition, but in one case, it was for tuition, books, and living expenses. And if she hadn't read the fine print, and if she hadn't gone through it with a fine-tooth comb, she wouldn't have realized that all of those benefits were included in that scholarship. So this is an area where going over something with a fine-tooth comb is a big, big benefit. Reading a contract, reading paperwork when you're signing onto a job, reading your benefit package when you're going to a new company, reading the scholarship paperwork before you get into a relationship with a university. So be sure to go over those important documents with a fine-tooth comb. Now, here's the flip side, going to pot. Okay, we'll have two people again. Someone can read the top. Someone can read the bottom. Theta, why don't you read the top two, meaning and origin?
Yes. Go to pot, meaning to become ruined, to get worse and worse. Origin. This idiom is from the 1500s, referring to an old or weak animal that couldn't breed, lay eggs, give milk, or pull wagons. The animal was more useful on the dinner plate than in the barnyard. So the animal was slaughtered and cooked in a pot. Now we describe anyone or anything as having gone to pot if the person or thing has worn out, is in bad shape, or can do its job properly.
Okay, and I saw that Akrit